Зараз.
It's January 10, Ukraine Media Center confirmed continues its operation. My name is Svitlana and now we will be announcing the team to compete in the United States Air Force Trials 2024. Let me introduce our participants there. Svitlana Kashenets, Deputy Minister for Veteran Affairs. Ihor Krytsak, Coordinating Manager at the United States Air Force Trials Competition. Naumenko, Director of Strategic Initiatives, Department of Come Back Alive. Bielorusova, Chief Operating Officer at the Center for Strategic Communications, StratCom Ukraine, and Oleksandra Lokhvytska, Head of the Program Department at the Ukrainian Veterans Foundation. So is the Ministry for Veterans Affairs who is picking the participants of the trial in coordination with Invictus Games, StratCom, and Come Back Alive Foundation. In the middle of December last year, there was the competition taking place in Ukraine, and upon the results of this competition, the committee created the team of 30 participants who will set off for Las Vegas this year to compete in the United States Air Force trials. So let's watch a small video about this selection process.
Пані Світлано, цікаво почути вашу думку щодо цих відбіркових змагань, головне про об'єктивність цього відбору, і на вашу думку, наскільки справді цей відбір був об'єктивним, ну і взагалі, яке значення мають такі змагання для України сьогодні?
Вітаю, друзі. Дякую.
What is the meaning of such competition for Ukraine? Dear friends, thank you for joining us in this studio, and I want to thank everybody who follows our event online. It's a very emotional event today. We are about to announce our team, And I would like to say that the selections committee was impartially assessing all of the participants. We had the full package of information about every single one of the participants, about their psychological test results, the social adaptation results in sports. Our selection committee is made of the members from civil organizations, charity foundations, law enforcement representatives of the educational institutions working in the area of physical culture and sports. So as you see whom the commission is made of, you understand how impartial the process was. Yesterday there was a meeting of the selections committee during which we've identified our main 30. It will be my honor in the end of this event go name by name to introduce all of them, all 30 of them. I would like to say that every time more and more participants come to this selection, and among these participants there are many of such who were going to attempt to try themselves at least once in the adaptive sports, and we welcome every single participant in our huge cohort. But to make sure that the adaptive sports develop in every community, the political will is necessary of the representatives of local authorities, because our athletes who take part in the competition, at the qualifying competition, they all come back to their homes, to their communities, and it's important to work on development of infrastructure, to develop the trainers who are ready to work with the veterans, to develop the veteran sports. And us as a Ministry for Veterans Affairs, we finalized the development of the methodology of sports rehabilitation, and this month we will be starting the public discussion, and we will be happy to have the specialists, the experts engaged in this public discussion, so we establish the sports rehabilitation in every single community of ours. Thank you, Ms. Svitlana. Mr. Ihor, can you please tell us about this qualifying competition? What was the number of participants, and why did Ukraine decide to take part in this United States Air Force trial? Good afternoon, everybody. Well, we decided to take part because we were invited and we decided to participate. We agreed to participate. It's a cool opportunity to get involved in such a thing for the veterans, and I would like to greet everybody who will take part in the United States Air Force trial, and I would like to ask everybody who will not be able to take part, do not get upset. Well, it was very difficult for the qualifying commission to decide on the exact members of the team, because everybody demonstrated quite good results, proving that the will is stronger than the body. So the first time before the qualifying event, we've decided to make a meeting, and it was humbling to us to see that more than 60% of the participants are those who attempted the adaptive sports for the first time in their lives, and they've demonstrated quite classy results. The qualifying committee worked pretty well. They identified the team, and shortly we are about to hear those names. So I wish everybody good luck, and I expect the results with impatience. Ms. Svitlana has already mentioned that the selection was impartial, but what were the criteria? Good morning, everybody. Come Back Alive is developing the selection methodology for national teams since 2014. Like for those teams which take part in the international competitions such as Invictus Games, Warrior Games, this time it's Air Force trials. And talking specifically about the criteria, there were three of such criteria: is the psychological results, athletic result, and social factor. Unlike Invictus Games, the Air Force trials, in Air Force trials, the weight of athletic result is 50% because the spirit of competition is more oriented at athletic results, which means that during the selection we were focusing more on the athletic result to be demonstrated by the participants, and it influenced the fact that within the short period from the start of qualifying process until the competition itself, the people have to push the envelope. They have to be like 100% ready, unlike, for example, in Invictus Games, where the value is more about rehabilitation rather than sports. So in this case we focus more on sports. And during the qualification we were looking at the qualification of the coaches and the athletic results. Another factors are psychological indicator and social factors. So psychological test is aimed at identifying to what extent the people need the feeling, the sense of this veterans community, how it does influence the psychological condition of a person. And social factor is like whether the people develop those sport communities in their territorial communities, whether they got interested in these adaptive sports. And if we see that if a participant does not qualify for the national team, they will continue training. So all those three factors are pretty influential, but the athletic factor is a little bit bigger, unlike in Invictus. In this case, Miss Anna, no matter that the competition is of sports nature, it's still more about the internal victory, something that unites us as the nation and bringing back the veterans to the social life. So it's not so much about awards. So do I understand it correctly about how it works for the participants? Good afternoon, everybody. We use this term, the warriors whose spirit is stronger than their body, is something that we use for a reason, because it's the reflection of what's going on during the competition, and it's important for us to develop the conditions for rehabilitation of the servicemen who come back to civil lives right now when the war is still going on. And we have to create such conditions under which the servicemen and veterans rehabilitate through sports independently of whether they are on the national team or not. I want to say that everybody who do not end up on the national team, please do not get upset, because we have more events, more trainings ahead of us. So I wish everybody good luck, and I urge everybody to take part in the competitions that help them get rehabilitated through sports. Miss Oleksandra, in your opinion, what is the meaning of this competition for the development of veterans movement and to reinforcement of such social movements in the regions? Well, in view of the fact that the basic principles that Ukrainian Veteran Foundation works upon is the development of veterans' opportunities, we see sports as a valuable asset, because during their service the veterans and the servicemen get a lot of skills, among which being a team player is an important skill. So taking part in the team sports, taking part in competition, any athletic competition, is of value to them, because they can use those soft skills that they acquired during their military service. And in response to the part of the question about the development in the regions, Ukraine Veterans Foundation last year supported about seven civil initiatives that now deal with the development of veteran sports in the regions and in the communities. and it's all about networking. It's about having every veteran who wants to practice sports don't have to live specifically in Kiev, because decentralization reform is in fact they can get involved in such initiatives in their communities. Thank you very much. I think we're coming close to the most important part of today's event, so please proceed to the announcement of the national team. Well, it's my honor to call the names of the members of our national team, and I want to thank all the bigger team thanks to whom we have this opportunity to take part in this competition. Our civil organizations, our partners, our wonderful coaches, managers, everybody who takes efforts to make this happen. So, Ukrainian national team. Vasil Barylyuk, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Alan Voliev, policeman of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Ihor Butenko, serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Yuri Gabonchuk, serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Vadim Kilchuk, veteran. Ilya Denisenko, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Serhiy Dubov, the serviceman of the State Bodyguard Service of Ukraine. Herman Zolotaryov, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Artem Kaidan, serviceman of the State Guard Service. Oleksandr Kataural, the serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Konstantin Kashula, the serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Vadim Kirichenko, the serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Serhiy Kiyashko, serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Artem Kots, the serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Timur Leon, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Nazar Lozovy, veteran of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Oleksandr Dedashkovsky, the serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Vyacheslav Ovsyannikov, the serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Yevgeny Omelchuk, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Yuri Pavlik, serviceman of the State Security Service of Ukraine. Ihor Panchuk, serviceman of the National Guard of Ukraine. Artem Pogorily, the veteran of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ihor Sali, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Pavlo Slisky, serviceman of the State Security Service of Ukraine. Ruslav Tsumin, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Dmitro Tereshenko, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ihor Troyan, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Yevhen Fedosenko, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Ivan Khalupa, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Roman Sekerda, serviceman of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Let's greet the Ukrainian national team. Our congratulations to all 30 members of Ukrainian national team, but the only answer is, where are the goals? Well, yesterday during the meeting of the qualifying committee, we've mentioned this fact that we didn't even have any single female contender, but we had females taking part in Invictus Games, but according to the rules, they had no chance to be on the national team for the Air Force trial, and it's one of our challenges to engage more women to try themselves in the adaptive sports, so we had at least some gender equality. So we urge all the females, we urge all of the civil organizations who work with female veterans to get them involved in this story. So our task for the next year is to have females in our team. Do we have any questions on the floor? Natalia Molchanova, Ukrinform. My question is probably to Ms. Svitlana. You've mentioned that the infrastructure should be developing, that local governments should be taking part in this. So my question is, we have the training of rehabilitologists who are supposed to work with injured people. So do we have understanding about how the training of coaches is supposed to be going on? The people who train the injured military athletes, or not specifically train them for the competition, but do some basic training. So where can we train such trainers? Well, we already have both coaches and rehabilitologists who work in this area of sports rehabilitation, and thanks to the initiatives of our charity foundations and civil initiatives, this initiative is developing thanks to the international foreign projects. But talking about the government programs, we've recently established a center for the veterans development on the platform of the Institute of Sports and Physical Culture, and now we develop the training programs, and we are going to engage the veterans who want to try themselves in this type of activity. Also, the Ministry for Veterans Affairs, in coordination with the civil organizations, in coordination with the foundation, we've developed a project under which we're looking for donors, for the partners who can get involved, and we want to try a couple of pilot communities, and based on them we want to work on, say, procurement of equipment, training of coaches, training of managers. We understand that this networking should be going on all across the country, so everybody has an opportunity like this. But here we're facing the problem of barrier-free space, because visiting different regions, we see that there is no accessibility for a lot of infrastructural facilities, athletic facilities, and it's the responsibility of the local governments to establish the barrier-free spaces so our injured veterans can develop, can undergo the sports rehabilitation, and I hope that also they will be able to submit their applications through civil organizations, through our foundation, to submit the donors' applications, and our methodology of sports rehabilitation will become a foundation based on which our communities will work. Do we have any more questions to our speakers? In case we don't, we want to thank our guests. Let me remind you, now we've found out the national team to compete in the United States Air Force Trials 2024, and Ukraine Media Center Confirm will continue its operation tomorrow. Stay tuned, follow our announcements. Glory to the Ukraine, glory to the heroes.